Welcome back to another episode of the PO3 Podcast. My name is Marcus Marks.
What's up? And I'm Victor Junior.
And I got to do something.
Hi.
Hold it down, brother.
Bye.
Hold
Hold it down, make it ground. So today's episode is all about Marcus Marks and how
No,
he
it's not.
went from
Go ahead. Finish.
and
What are you going to say?
how he went from zero
It's a hero.
to hero.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing really good. I feel good. Even though I worked last night, worked all night.
How was that? What time did you get back?
5 a.m.
Ooh, that's late.
Damn.
That's super late, dude.
Yeah, but I enjoy doing it. And there's not that many rideshare drivers out there right now because of COVID. But what I've been doing is before a passenger comes into the car, I spray Lysol up inside the car. Of course, I continue to wear my mask, and I have hand sanitizer there for the passengers, my own. And then as soon as they leave, boom, again, Lysol inside the car again. You got to just be safe. And
Yeah, it's a good protocol. And they're making you wear a mask, huh? Like,
yes, you have to wear a mask. But I have a pack of extra masks for them too.
are there idiots that try to get in with that one?
There's some people
always
say,
one.
you know what, I just forgot my mask, or hey, can I go run and get my mask real quick? And some run and get their mask. I don't care if they run and get their mask, but if they don't have one, I have some.
Oh, well, that's cool.
So yeah, I have some medical grade ones, so that's good.
You probably meet a lot of interesting. I know, because I used to drive Uber, and I met a lot of weird people, but a lot of cool people as well.
Dude, I could write a book
On all the people you met?
and all the experiences, just not just the people, the experiences itself. Of rideshare. It's just so crazy. But
I got this one dude one time, picked him up, and he was getting groceries or something, and he just threw all his shit. Like, he didn't fucking organize or anything. He just threw all his bags in there, and then he was trying to pop the trunk, but he wasn't saying nothing. He didn't make eye contact with me or anything like that. He tried popping the trunk. I was like, "You need to put that in there," and he didn't say nothing. And I was like, do you need to put that in there? And he was just like, fuck, I'm gonna get stabbed, dude. So I was like, I popped the trunk for him, and the whole way back, it was like a 2-mile ride. Luckily, it was short, and I was trying to. Yeah, it was a long 2 mile. I was trying to converse with him for a minute, and then I realized he's not gonna say anything. So I was like, whatever.
Yeah, you could tell.
I got to his destination, and then he just got out, got his shit, but he wasn't upset or anything. He was just I think he was a little slow, but I didn't figure that out until the end because I don't know. He just he was kind of fidgeting in the bag and stuff, and I was just keeping an eye on him because I wasn't sure, But yeah, I have a lot of stories like that too, because I tried to only drive during midday and then into the evening, and then I didn't really go past that just because I know all of the characters that you get after that time.
Yeah,
and I don't want no one throwing up in my car.
Yeah, no, I've had the other night. I had a woman I picked up, and she was throwing. I have throw up bags though available for the passengers just in case.
There's a fee though, huh?
Yes, if they do get anything on the inside of the car, of course your night's over because it's a biohazard. You have to have it all cleaned up, and then the passenger gets billed for that cleaning. So it could be up to $300, $350, I think it is.
Oh wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
What if that's not on their card? Then what's gonna happen? What if they don't have $350?
I don't know what happens after that.
Right?
Yeah.
Do they have to pay that? Because they're not gonna
collections
pay that.
or something.
They're
Why
never
are you
gonna see
collections
again.
for?
Just delete your
Because I
app.
threw up and lived.
Or what if they just delete the app and then just you never hear from them?
Well, they
again?
have your credit card information.
Yeah,
so,
but what if you put a different type of a prepaid card in there?
Oh, I don't know.
That's what I would do.
I don't know you.
Well, first of all, because
fucking
I do
criminal.
that anyway. Anywhere, I use the
Just
second card. I don't use the main one. I have a prepaid already with cash on it.
Are you paranoid about?
Well, yeah. I mean, look at all the shit that happens. I've had my information stolen before, and it's not fun. So I'd rather just if they're gonna take some money, it's only gonna be $150. Go ahead and take it. If you're gonna take it, you're not gonna get to my stash, Just to be safe. I'm tired today, man. I'm really tired. I don't know.
What's wrong? What
I don't know.
did you do? Did you work out last night or yesterday?
I didn't work out. I haven't worked out in a while. It's been a long time since I worked out, but I don't know. I feel like my depression's coming. I know the signs already. I've been through this a million times. I can feel it creeping up, and it usually starts with low energy. It's just I feel lethargic today, and I feel unmotivated, and I'm pretty
tired. Listless.
Yeah. I still get up. I still gotta get up
Nice.
and like force myself to do stuff though, because otherwise I'll like lay in the bed, and I don't like laying in the bed. That's like I got over that a long time ago. Even like
It makes your day go by its worst.
no, it
Like
makes it
just the
way worse
feeling is like just
physically and everything.
nasty. Yeah.
Physically, like so when that shit starts to happen, I'll get up and do stuff. Like I'll get my day started and I'll create work for myself, and complete every task. It doesn't always happen, but most of the time I try to get every task completed. That way my mind stays busy, and then the more busy I am, I can just kind of get through the day, and then because sometimes the next day it's gone. You
Do you
know,
feel drained or tired because your mind's like moving at 100 miles an hour as well right
That's
now?
probably where the crash comes from, yeah, and then, like, it'll trigger it and stuff, so, like, uh, especially with the podcast, my mind's always going a million miles an hour trying to think of different things and then, like, creating stuff, and, like, your mind just never stops. I fixate over it for a while, and then eventually, like, I'll crash and stuff, and then it'll hit me, and then on top of the low energy, it's just like I do wanna lay there, but I can't. I'm just like
Yeah.
I just yeah, I'm I'm making it worse, that's what I'm doing, but, either way though, this I'm glad that we have this platform right here because it's helping me out a lot, and I'm noticing that from the small amount of people that we've already reached so far, it's helping them too as well. I can tell, because I get people calling me and talking about how certain things that we're saying and talking about is resonating with them because they that's stuff that they go through, and they were unaware that they even had those issues, and they really thought that there was nothing wrong with them. I remember somebody called me and they were like, "Dude, I didn't understand that this was wrong with me. Like I didn't even know I had this problem." He's all, "I just thought it was normal my whole life." I was like, "Nah, dude, that's exactly what it is. It's OCD or whatever you're going through.
Yeah.
So it's real important that we.
And that's the key, and that makes me feel very, very, very happy and excited that I want to celebrate that because that's what our goal is for people who may not know or who do not understand and still continue to have that stigma on mental health. They don't it's because they don't understand what's going on with themselves or the other person, and that's what our purpose is just speaking about what we live with and not coming from a professional educated type, but just coming straight up from our experience, our own life experience and living with mental health issues and our everyday life. And I'm really, really glad that somebody was able to recognize and actually accept the fact that this is something that's going on in themselves, and that's a great step in their own life.
And the more people that, watch it, the more people are gonna get reaching out to us, telling their stories and how they didn't even understand what was wrong with them until they had it heard it explained to them. I think that was one of like verbatim, he said, "I didn't understand it until I heard it from somebody else."
Yeah.
Which is the same thing for me. Like sometimes I can't recognize my own flaws unless I see them in somebody else. So if somebody else has like similar character defects as me or something going on and I see it in them, it'll help me recognize it in myself.
Yeah, and
It's almost
that's
like
the
looking
best
into a
part.
mirror.
That's all about the growth, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
That's all personal growth because you're able to recognize what's going on.
And I think the timing was correct too, because I think I wouldn't have been ready to do anything like this a few years ago. Not even close. I wouldn't even like because one of the things we talked about was we don't want to talk about it. For the longest
Yeah.
time, we just want to keep it to ourselves. When I'm noticing now that like by helping other people, it's helping me.
Oh yeah, and just having this conversation amongst just even like we said before, even if only one person was listening to the podcast, whether it was just ourselves or even just our moms, at least this is a type of therapy for us, for each other, and it's working, and this is awesome. So
Yeah,
I
because
like
it's
it.
it's therapy for me. Because as we speak right now, I can feel myself trying to fight the depression, and like I could feel like I'm kind of forcing myself to think about things because if I don't, I'm just gonna sit here like this.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nothing will get said. But I have to force myself to constantly try and carry the conversation for myself. Because when you start developing the symptoms of depression, you get really quiet. It's
Mhm.
not just literally, you stop talking, but mentally, it just kind of
Have you
everything
ate today?
everything dims. And no, I haven't eaten. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
eat either.
yeah,
I
see?
hate eating in the
There
morning.
you go.
I hate eating, but I never do that. I wake up in the morning and just like the sight of food disgusts me. Like I don't like it. There's
You're
something
just
about it.
feeling yeah, you're feeling down. Well, where's that coming from? Like, do you can you maybe not necessarily just pinpoint exactly where it's coming from, but can you kind of see the direction of what area of your life in your personal life and embody of where that depression is coming from without saying it. But if you could at least dig deep a little bit and search for where that may be coming from, and look at the situation and see, face that situation and say to yourself, okay, what can I do, whether it's a baby step to move forward into the next stage of utilizing that depression for a leap up, like we were discussing the last
Well,
podcast.
here's the thing. In a case of ADHD or bipolar, it's very different. You know what's going to trigger your depression, and
Mhm.
ADHD. Since those two illnesses overlap, it's kind of hard to decipher which is which. So I've become pretty good at deciphering. And stepping back and taking a look at like, all right, is this depression circumstantial, or is it out of the blue and something that's out of my control? And in this case, this particular case, it's just out of the blue. It's just out of my control, and there's nothing in particular that's causing or triggering my depression. It's just something that's gonna happen. It's just out of my hands, and I kind of just gotta wait it out and practice the therapy that helps me get through the day. So like doing the things that are opposite of what I would normally do when I'm depressed. If I'm noticing that I'm kind of being you know if I'm in bed too long or I can't get out of bed or I'm avoiding, just personal hygiene or stuff like that, then I'll notice it and then I'll go do those things.
You stanky.
Yeah, you have to. But so yeah, I do the opposite of them, and that's how I kind of treat it, and make it a little bit. It dampers the depression, and it kind of, in some cases, it prevents it from going full blown, because the more you play into it, the deeper it gets.
Yeah,
So,
of course,
but
definitely.
with like someone with ADHD, that type of depression is more or less a trigger, and it's the same thing with bipolar as well. But with ADHD, because with ADHD, I have it pretty bad, and I had it as a kid and all through school and stuff. And they wanted to medicate me, but my mom said no. We don't want to, we don't want to put them on stimulants and freaking,
Yeah.
methamphetamine pills, pharmaceutical methamphetamine when you're a child, because those
Yeah.
are the years of your life where you're developing, and it's crucial to your development that you just, you have as many natural, you don't want any like foreign chemicals in your brain other than what you're already producing, because it's
Yeah,
going to
that's right.
affect your growth. Um, but so ADHD, it's more circumstantial depression. So like something that would trigger it, and that's usually what causes it. And those are preventable causes. You can if you learn how to recognize it. Same for me, like what I said earlier. You can you can kind of prevent it from happening. What versus bipolar or something like that, it's kind of just out of your hands. You kind of just got to deal with it. But I was reading a article, and it says that kids with ADHD, there's like a 3-year time lapse of brain growth for them. So like the amount of time that it takes for their brain to catch up with somebody who's exactly their age is about 3 years. So there's a
Yeah.
3-year gap, and that makes sense for me because I got held back in the 4th grade. I wasn't able to go past that because of my ADHD and stuff like that. And I always felt like I was further behind kids, and I started noticing it later in my life that I was a late bloomer, and so they say you don't really come out of that until like 16 years old. So and which I didn't even know. I had no idea that there was a time lag on that for ADHD for whatever the reason
Yeah, I didn't
is.
know that.
Yeah, so I'll
And
look it up right now.
no, but did you ever at one time start to think, okay, so this depression is starting to I'm just asking, just for myself, because I know that I remember we were talking about this a few episodes ago on the podcast about when the depression starts to come up or build up within yourself. For me, I believe it's stuff that's happening, stuff that's currently happening, or maybe there's too much happening in my life and I'm just feeling so overwhelmed that I will actually get depressed because I feel like I can't handle it. And it's a bunch of shit that I have to handle, that I have to complete, that I have to have done. And I just feel useless to myself because I feel like I can't complete it. So there's different ways that depression for myself comes up. And that's why I was just trying to
That's one of the
see the differences.
that's one of the symptoms of ADHD as well. But it's depression is like such an overlapping symptom that presents itself in a lot of mental illnesses. Like, of course, like schizophrenia, depression's a huge one. Bipolar depression's huge. ADHD depression is huge. OCD will cause depression and stuff. So it's kind of like a universal symptom of all those those illnesses, but you have to recognize what's causing it first of all, and is it circumstantial, because if it's circumstantial, then that's, like I said, that's something that you can pull yourself out of, and you can kind of just get over it to a certain extent,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
of course.
if it's what is it, like clinical depression or something like that, what is it, chronic depression?
Manic depression.
No, there's a term for it. It's clinically depressed, right?
Clinically
If you're
depressed.
clinically depressed, then you have to get medicated for it, because that's just something where they need to balance out and give you more serotonin and stuff like that. Um, what was I gonna say? Here's one.
You're gonna read an article or something that you
Yeah, so I was
found?
I was
Yeah.
looking at stuff about ADHD and stuff because I wanted to go more into that because it does overlap with bipolar and stuff like that. And there's a thing called schema therapy. So basically, schema is just put it this way: it's a framework on how you see yourself, how you view yourself, And so, like an example, like one schema would be you feel defective and then inadequate in all levels, which can make you hypersensitive to like criticism or rejection or anything like that. So that's a form of schema. That's a way that you view yourself. So you feel like you're not good enough, just complete inadequacy throughout the board, on all levels. Like anything you do, you just feel inadequate.
Yeah, those are those feelings that like I can't complete, I cannot, I can't accomplish, I can't achieve. Those are all that, I can't, and I
And when I
want.
heard that one really resonated with me a lot because I was like, oh yeah, right here, And then, or you're insecure around people and you're always in a state of like comparing yourself to others, which I had a huge problem with that growing up, and that's where a lot of the insecurities that I was talking about, that probably comes from why I would leave parties without saying goodbye, and I would just
Yeah.
leave and I'd have like social awkwardness and anxiety.
And a lot of that, is there's different forms of that type right there because you could be, just by the way somebody looks and you could feel bad about yourself because you feel that they look so much better than you, or their life and their work life is or their career is off to a great amazing start better than yours, or everything's better about them, their car's better, their home's better, their family's better, their life's better.
And then social media, especially nowadays, because back then, yeah, it was a thing, but it still existed. But now it's even more so because now people are comparing themselves to unrealistic, features that people are presenting on like Instagram or Facebook
Yeah.
because of the filters and stuff, So it's like unreal, and they're so young that they don't understand that that's not something that is attainable. It's just something that it's just a figment of your, like, it's completely fake. Like it's
Yeah.
not real. You can never get to that. Unless
Well, you can, but it's not real at the time, and you have to embrace the fact that where you're at is where you're at, and you can go up. You just got to strive for it, and you may not
no,
ever make it. But
physically though, like a lot of those features that those filters are creating are just like really unattainable
oh yeah,
without,
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just like something that you should not compare yourself to.
yeah.
It's
That's
like
right.
completely unrealistic.
They have a lot too.
And with social media, like I said, it's amplifying that and making kids feel even worse now, because now the suicide rates are up even further
Oh
now,
yeah,
especially with quarantine and all that stuff. Like, that's all kids had to do was be on their phones, They were afraid the freaking towers were the networks were gonna crash because so many people were on social media.
yeah,
And then, so like another schema would be a sense of failure, or that you often feel inept, like you're stupid or lacking talent. And for me, that was huge too, because growing up, I often felt that, I felt inept and I felt like I was stupid, because my report cards and my behavior and the way that I was able to retain information confirmed that for me. And it made me feel like I was stupid. For my whole life, dude, I believe that shit, and
yeah.
still
Well,
today.
it's a deep rooted belief. It could be because it's an experience that you had. You held on to that experience, so you stuck to that belief for the rest of your life,
Yeah. And
or
then,
most of your life. But now at least you're recognizing it, though, right?
yeah, well, now, the more research I do and stuff, like, I'm
Yeah.
starting to see that this is all stuff that they create therapy for this type of stuff, and this actual, for ADHD, it's called schema therapy, So basically, it's kind of like going into the therapy the way it works. You obviously have to go see a psychiatrist or psychologist or clinician to get actual therapy for it, but it's kind of along the same premise as what I was discussing before about the depression. Is if I recognize that the depression is coming on, my normal thought pattern would be to be just to stay in bed, right, and avoid my hygiene and avoid doing tasks that I need to get done throughout the day. My mental checklist. So a way that they treat that is do the opposite of it. Retrain your brain to learn how to just pull yourself out of
Get
that
up
when it
and
happens.
go.
Yeah, so that's kind of how the therapy works.
There's an author, she has a show too. Her name's Mel Robbins, and she has this book called The 5 Second Rule. It's pretty awesome. She
I have that
basically
too. Like when I like say I'm cooking or something like that, and like I drop a piece of chicken or something, but
oh
it's still
yeah,
it's
5 second
still yeah, it's
rule.
still good. That's probably not what she was talking about. But yeah.
Nah. So basically, her 5 second rule is not just about dropping your food, but it's just dropping your fucking your depression out that door. It's her 5 second rule is that when you're laying in bed and you're contemplating, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna get up? Or as soon as the alarm rings, you have 5 seconds. You have 5
Can we
seconds
push it
to
to
make it
10,
to
please?
no 5 seconds. You have to say, okay, within 5 seconds, you have to make a decision to either get up or stay, because any longer than 5 seconds, you're going to actually stay in bed and you're going to stay there and you're going to stay there. And there's this study to where the first time you wake up in the morning, which is usually around between 4 and 8 a.m., those are the best times for creativity. So as soon as you wake up at those times, wake up and stay up, because that's when your creative your mind is most creative. And if you go back to sleep, you actually end up feeling worse instead of just getting up and staying up. If you go back to sleep, you feel worse after about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, because there's something that happens to the body. It's weird. You gotta
No,
look it up
it's true though,
on
because
Google or something.
yeah, Google that if you're interested.
Yeah.
But the same thing goes for me. That's why I don't take naps during the day, because I've noticed over the
Oh,
years that if I nap, it just makes me feel like shit. Even further.
hell
I'll feel
yeah.
drowsy and stuff, and it'll just make me like, okay, I don't get it. I'm tired, but I don't want to lay down because it hurts. So what the fuck?
Yeah.
I kind of ruined it.
And then the rest of your day's all groggy and you feel
Versus
like
if
shit.
yeah, versus if I would have just stayed up and pushed through it, then I would have been able to sleep better at night. But yeah, and the more I love, my favorite thing to do is I'm an early bird. I like to when I have the energy, if there's things to do, I like to do it like 6:30 in the morning.
Do you get the worm?
The worm. Oh, the early bird gets the worm? You idiot. Yeah, I do. I like to get up at 6:30 in the morning and pour myself a cup of coffee, especially winter. Right now it's hot. Well, it was hot, so I got stuck on Red Bull, but normally I like
Yeah.
coffee. So I'll get up, go to my computer, my workstation and stuff, and then kind of browse a little bit and go over my mental checklist. All right, what needs to get done as far as editing and stuff goes like that.
Coffee is key though, because that's
Bro,
the
like
first thing I do. In the summertime, it's iced coffee blended, and then of course now it's warmer, so you got all the spicy shit going
that's
into
the
the
thing that makes me
coffee.
get out of bed is the looking forward
Yeah.
to pouring that first cup of coffee
Yeah.
and then feeling that initial jolt from the coffee and that little buzz that you get. I love coffee, dude.
Yep.
That's why I get up, because the mood goes perfect. I remember the other day I had 2 podcasts to edit, and I walked out. It was about 6:30 and it was pouring. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Hell yeah. It's raining. I'm about to pour, because I hadn't had coffee in a while, like in a
Yeah.
year, because of, it'd been so hot, or however many months. And since last summer. And I was like, hell yeah. So I poured the coffee. I came and sat down. I edited for like 14 hours that day.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Just getting everything done. And I had so much energy though. So, and I just, because of the coffee, and because of,
Yeah.
I was I was zooming a little bit. So, but yeah, I love to get things done early in the morning. That was
That's the most creative part of your life,
yeah,
Like,
for me, yeah, my create. So yeah, I forgot how we started that conversation, but yeah, that's where my creative juices are flowing the most. That's why when I would have sessions and stuff for the studio recording sessions, I would always want to do them as early as I can do them.
oh
A
yeah.
lot of rappers, they always like to be the night. They're night. They're nocturnal. By nature and stuff. And for me, I was the complete opposite.
I am, like, all my jobs, most of my jobs, I should say, I've worked nights. I've got off at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I've
I used to
always,
work nights.
with the airlines, with several different other jobs too, that I just always work nights. And then, my ride share, I've been doing it at night. It's just used.
But what do you do
just
that's
used to it.
creative that would require you to? Because you said since the
I
morning
don't
is the
do
best.
a damn thing that's creative. I just
You're doing it right now.
sit at home, smoke weed, drink beer, put my hands in my pants.
He ain't
No,
lying.
I'm just playing.
He ain't lying. No, he cooks a lot.
Yeah, I love to cook. Oh yeah, and then the holidays are coming, so I got
You're gonna bake a lot.
baking a lot.
He's gonna bake a lot.
Yep.
No, look, you're gonna bake a lot.
Yeah, bake
He's
a
gonna
lot
bake
there
a lot.
too. Bake a lot.
Wake and bake, huh?
Wake and
You should
bake.
do a wake and bake podcast.
I know, right?
What you do is you pour your coffee, you hit the bong, and then you just go off on your rant, on your
Ah,
morning.
shit.
It'll be like a 15-minute segment. How easy would those be to knock out?
Shit, those would be hella easy and quick.
Have you ever do you have any experience with like having trouble sleeping and stuff, like insomnia?
I did until I switched over to like at night I'll smoke an indica. So that indica actually helps me at least get to sleep because that was the initial thing was getting to sleep because my mind was just I had all this mind chatter and everything's just rowdy in my mind, everything keeps going and it never settles. You know, you just keep thinking what I could have should have did. So I started to do that and then it makes you think too if you do smoke an indica and it just makes you basically calm down, relax, and it settles your mind to just for myself, I just start to meditate at that time. You know, and I just relax, meditate and go to sleep and I've been sleeping very very well and I'm actually sleeping less hours. It feels like I'm sleeping less hours because I'm getting up a little bit soon earlier than what I was, but I think I'm sleeping better through the night instead of just going to bed and then just tossing and turning.
I remember when I was growing up, dude, when my anxiety was super, super bad. Um, I had a little period there where I got
Boys don't have periods.
You always throw my fucking train of thought off,
Sorry.
dude. Excuse me, kids. Sorry. Please excuse his behavior. I'm just kidding. I'm the same fucking way. I do that shit all the time. As soon as I find a bit and I don't care if you're in the middle of your conversation, I'm gonna do the joke, you know?
I'm gonna get you. I don't know when. I'm gonna get you.
But yeah, I remember when my anxiety was super bad, there was a period of time there where I got stuck on sleeping pills because my anxiety was so bad and my thoughts were all over the place to the point where I couldn't fall asleep. And so I was staying up for like 24 hours a lot, you know. And I would lay there and I would try to go to sleep, but my anxiety wouldn't let me and it wouldn't allow me to close my eyes and just fall asleep, you know. So I don't know where I got these, but Tylenol PMs.
Mhm.
I tried one of those, and I think one time it worked, right? So it put me to sleep, you know, and it put me in a deep sleep. I remember just waking up the next day. I was like, oh shit, that felt like I was knocked out, you know. So the next day you do it, and then 1 week turns into two, and the next thing you know, now I need 2 pills to freaking fall
Oh
asleep.
yeah.
And then sure enough, that would work, right? And then 2 pills turned into 3 pills. Next thing you know, I need 3 pills, and then it got to a point where 3 pills wasn't working anymore. And even though I was taking sleeping pills, I would be on 3 sleeping pills, dude, and I couldn't fall asleep.
Damn,
Yeah, it
dude.
was scaring me, dude. I was like, oh shit, there's something going on here. Like this is not good. You know, I'm on 3 sleeping pills and I could not fall asleep. I was still awake. That's how bad my anxiety got, dude. I was like,
Yeah, but
holy.
you know what too, bro, is you got used to the medication
Yeah,
too.
I built up a tolerance for the freaking
Yeah.
sleeping pills, and who knows what that did to my brain at a young age. You know, I have no
Yeah.
idea like as far as development goes, like that had to have like did something to my brain chemistry to
Yeah,
throw it
that's
off a
weird.
little bit. You know, and even today, like I can notice like with my depression coming on, I'm not able to think as clear. Like it's hard for me to like recall certain words or like form certain sentences. You know, I feel like I'm like really having a hard time right now trying to say it clear and concise. You know. To
To head
Duh.
the
I feel like I'm having a hard time with it though, dude. It's like super cloudy today. But I really wonder like if that affected me as a child. Maybe you could look it up and see if like do sleeping pills affect
Tylenol sleeping pills.
do Tylenol sleeping pills affect adolescence, you know, or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know because I got hooked on them, you know?
Well, yeah, of course, dude. That's crazy. Cause what's in those anyways?
Shit, I don't know, whatever makes you fall asleep. Probably like freaking sheep.
Sheep?
They probably put sheep in there.
Oh yeah.
Aren't those the things you count?
You gotta count them.
I wonder
Yeah.
how it is for a kid with ADD or OCD. You know, if he counts sheep, how many does he got to count?
He's gotta count 'em, like over and over and over again.
Stupid ass sheep. I wonder how many sheep he has to count. Is it sheeps or sheep?
And then you start thinking like, damn, did I count them right?
Then you got to start over and
Then
count
you
the
gotta
sheep.
start over. Yeah.
I used to have that. I remember I had this job one time, right? And the whole job, all we had to do, all we got hired for, I was a temp, right? And it was just a bunch of temps, and all we got hired for was to count components. And I was like, oh, this job is gonna drive me so freaking nuts, dude. And it was a warehouse, right? It was an electrical warehouse, and it was for like cameras and all the components. So like the components are like tiny, bro. They're like super tiny, and there's like millions of them, and you have to count them. We would count all day, and sometimes you count with scales, but most of the time the scales were down or they were used up, so you had to count manually. You had to like have a pile here and just count them.
You're lucky I wasn't your coworker.
Why?
Because I would fuck you up every day.
Why?
I'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I would have fucking stabbed you, bro.
48, 99.
I would have fucked your ass up, bro. I swear to God. I'm fucking counting here. I remember one time in that fucking job, somebody came out with here's why I got fired from that job. Somebody came out and they needed an order, right? And they asked for a certain amount of components, and I gave them to her, and I gave them in a bag. She's all, these aren't the ones. And for whatever reason, that just fucking like, that hit the wrong switch in my head. I was like, all right, these are the wrong ones, right? And I grabbed more, and I took them, and I fucking threw them at her. I threw them all, and they went everywhere, bro. She went like that. She's all psycho. She's like, you psycho? I was like, man, fuck you, dude. And then
you're not even a doctor. You diagnosed me.
And then how about I know, right? Bing. And then how about this? The boss calls me in. One of the like whoever was on the floor managing comes over, and he tells me, he's like, what the fuck is going on here? And when he turned around, like when he was done talking to me, I started mocking him like I was a baby. Like me, like fuck. And then the bigger boss called me in. He's all, son, did you make baby sounds at him? And he started to chuckle. Like he started laughing because it was hilarious. He was like, oh my God. He's like, I gotta let you go, man. I'm sorry. He's like, did you throw these components at this fucking girl, dude? I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. Fucking idiot. Me up. She did though, dude. I don't remember. They look like Cheez-Its. I remember like the components looking like Cheez-Its. I just took them.
That's
like,
crazy.
At the wall. What does it say there?
For side effects. I was just looking up the side effects in children, but it's just the same old thing. Constipation, diarrhea,
I never had that.
Itching, signs of an allergic reaction.
I remember one of the side effects that I had.
Itching, red, swollen, blistered, or peeling skin with or without fever, wheezing, tightness in the chest or throat, trouble breathing, swallowing, or talking, unusual hoarseness.
Read it like the commercial so I could put in the music and make it sound like it's a commercial.
How do they do it?
They do it hella fast. Okay.
I don't know if I can do it that fast, actually. Let me see. Warning, caution, even though there have been...
you can't even do it.
There may be some rare people may have bad and sometimes deadly side effects, even when taking this drug.
You're too high pitched. You're too high pitched. You got to come down lower.
Okay. Warning, caution. Even though this drug may be rare, some...
I'll just speed it up.
Fuck it. You know what? Just take it and let us know what happens to your ass. Shit.
But anyway, going back to what I was...
No, don't take nothing that wasn't like, that was just playing around. That was fake, Don't do nothing like that.
So another schema, what I wanted to mention was, basically the way you view yourself. Before I went on the freaking rant that we were on and the sleeping pills was, so number 3 was insufficient self-control. You can't rely on yourself to accomplish things. You can't tolerate the frustration that comes with waiting on the desired outcome, and you avoid certain duties or responsibilities, even if it means like severe repercussions, So like, even though you have like a task or a deadline that you need to meet, the anxiety and the,
fuck it.
Yeah, just anticipating it is too much for you to deal with, so you just avoid it.
Yeah.
Like even though you're gonna get fired or something like that, and you have a big whatever presentation to put together, or you have this deadline to meet that you need this edited for, and you have to make it by, you're like, I'm good. Like I'll just do it the last minute. But that's me though. I do that shit all the time.
But it works for some people though. Some people can really work well under pressure like that, under a tight schedule. A lot of people I've heard of some people being able to actually just within a couple of days, just cut a project out and just put something together very, very well compared to them having to do it for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, so like...
It's weird. I wonder why.
So all that stuff that I was mentioning, right? Like all those schemas and those negative...
Did you even hear what I just said?
Not really.
I know. I could tell.
I'm sorry. Well, I can't multitask. Can you repeat it?
Oh, no, I forgot. Go ahead.
So like with ADHD, right? The problem with kids that try to, because exactly what I just did to you, I didn't even realize that you were talking to me, and I just zoned out. And that's one of the things that people may feel like they're being rude because it works the other way too, because it feels like you're either cutting them off or you're not paying attention to them at all. And so one of the ADHD, one of the symptoms is hyperfocus. So just how I was able to do that with you, for example, like if I'm on the computer or something like that and I'm editing, and someone's talking to me, I won't hear you. I'll be hyper focused on what I'm doing, and everything else kind of just
And
doesn't
you're like,
exist.
uh-huh.
No, for real, dude.
Uh-huh.
Everything else just doesn't exist except the task that's in front of me, And then
Your fiance's like, babe, can I go buy this like $120, please?
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
You ever seen that?
Sure.
You ever seen Click
Oh, thank you, honey.
with Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
Okay, remember when like he's on autopilot with the remote and stuff? Like that's how it is, He's just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Like he's just going through the motions and stuff. And I don't mean to do it, but like a lot of the times, like I'll freaking like in the middle of you talking, I'm thinking of 20 other things, dude. And then for whatever reason, I just felt like it's okay just to be like, hey, so yeah, do you ever remember me doing this or something like that? Like I would just completely cut you off. Like I do that shit to my dad all the time. I freaking hate it, dude.
No, I have sometimes I get too annoying though because I'm very, very, very well. You know that I'm very hyper.
Sometimes when you're freaking dabbed out, no, like nah, you're hella. I can't get through to you when you're high. You're just like a freaking slug, dude. But when you're like more like he broke his pen, so he doesn't have it today. So
Yeah,
that's why he's more coherent.
No, I still smoked before I got here though. I smoked in the.
I smoked in the alley.
Smoked in the alley in the back.
But also too, like with ADHD, a lot of the times why they aren't able to like they test very poorly and stuff, and they get held back a lot, people with ADHD, is because the information that they're being given, they can't retain it. And the same thing goes for me. Like I can't retain any information for the most part, like up to a certain point. Like if you tell me something and you read me a paragraph, I'm not able to just store that in the back of my brain and go to it later and bring it up when I need it, Usually it just disappears like that. So I'll have to study it like 3 or 4 times.
You have like an automatic delete in your
It's
system.
like, yeah, it's like control delete all the time, dude. It's like, fuck, dude. Like again, like
damn, I should have saved that damn file. What was it?
That's why I have to write shit down. And like, if it's really, really interesting to me, then I'll be able to remember it,
Yeah.
And I'll be able to recall it more or less if it's something boring. And that's why I never did well in school, because most of the shit they were teaching us was already boring to begin with. And a lot of that shit, I was like, you know what? My mind is already in another place, because I should have been on medication and stuff, but
yeah,
to help me focus.
Yeah.
But I don't, like I said, that's why I can't remember anything that I ever learned in school. I don't remember any of that shit. So it's really hard that's why there's the 3-year lag, before they even get to the point where it's kind of like, all right, maybe now you could take in some information. But yeah, for me, it was always super, super hard to like retain anything. And I always did horrible on tests. And I was looking for my report card today.
You know what? I did horrible on tests too. But you know what though? I knew. Okay, so a few examples. Every time I go and take a test, it sucked because I would get so fucking paranoid about it for some reason. I would just feel the pressure, feel that anxiety, and I couldn't think. And I would always fail a test. I always failed a test. Even going to the DMV when I was getting my trucker's license a while back, I had to take it, and I was like, and the lady's all, and I told her, I said, I know the answer. She's like, okay, I'm going to read you these ones that you missed. She said, what is this? And I told her, okay, got them all right. She's like, you passed. She goes, you're just one of those. She goes, I know that. She goes, my son is like that. Whenever he takes a test, he gets stuck. She goes, you just,
Is it because you were second guessing yourself?
I don't know what I was doing. I was just
for me,
scared.
I second guess every single little thing. Like even though like you said, even though you know the answer, you'd be like, oh shit, because you'll take if that one split second of you going back to revise your answer that you came up with is where you're fucking yourself. For me at least. So like I'll put down A, knowing that the question is A, and then I'll think to myself, oh well, wait,
but what if
I gotta look
B?
at it. Yeah, but if you like studied the material and you're like for sure that you still kind of mind fuck yourself into like second guessing it and then convincing yourself that it is B. And that's for me. That's why I failed a lot of the tests. It's not because I didn't. Well, one, I couldn't retain the material, but when I did know it, I second guessed myself, and then I still got it wrong. So then it gets to a point where I'm just like, I'm just gonna guess everything because what's the point? I'm not gonna pass. I had already had that drilled.
You might as well take the chances of guessing and getting something right.
That was another thing too. Is like, what's the one of the schemas was like you already have this idea in your head that you're gonna fail anyways, so you don't even try. It's like it's it's over before it even starts, kind of thing, you know. And for me, the same thing. Like, so when a test would come up, I'd just be like, it's just gonna be a repeat of last time, so I might as well just fill everything out and just get it over
Yeah.
with, so I could just sit here and doodle on my binder. You know, I was a big doodler.
Oh, you finished first? Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. I'd pretend like I was working though, because then they would know that I just guessed the whole thing. Because it would be 5 minutes into the test on a test that should take 3 hours, and I'm like halfway through the freaking thing. You know.
Damn.
You know when you had to do like the what were those? They're not the SATs. They're like the what is it called? That one test.
Placement test?
Yeah, something like it was a placement test, right?
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's like a placement test. It's just kind of like to measure where you're at and stuff, and to see if you can go on and go a little bit further. You know, well, they're prepping you for it. So you normally take it your senior year. I stopped going my 10th grade year.
Oh yeah,
so I didn't even get there.
I stopped going. I was sophomore for 2 months, and I stopped.
Yeah, so I went. Well, sophomore is 10th grade, right?
Yeah.
Freshman, sophomore. Okay, yeah. So
9,
I stopped.
10, 11,
Yeah,
12,
so I
yeah.
stopped going to my 10th. Originally I was supposed to go on home studies, right? And I knew I
Do you
was
think
just.
that would have helped you?
Oh, I convinced everyone that it did.
Really? So,
but I knew that I
did
was
it
just
or
off
no?
the. No, I didn't do anything. I didn't have any intention of doing homework.
You just didn't want to do
I just
it.
didn't want to be in school anymore because I hate. Well, first of all, I had so much anxiety, dude, to where like I was not even there, like mentally. I was mentally checked out the entire time I was in
Yeah.
high school. Like I remember sitting in the freaking classroom just like this. Just like, and then the teacher would come over and be like, "What's wrong with you?" But like, I don't know. Like, I can't be here. Like, there's something wrong. I need to go home, you know? So I would go home and stuff like that. So, and then, yeah, I don't know, dude. It was just a big blur to me. So that's what I wanted to get on home studies and stuff. So I could just be in my own little environment, you know?
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got it, like, I don't know how I convinced my parents to allow me to go on home studies and stuff, but I finally did it. And then all my friends, they had graduated anyway, you know? They were already out of high school. So I didn't really have anybody when they left, you know? So I was like bouncing around from this clique to this clique. And I was like, man, I don't want to be around anybody really. So I'd rather just be at home and stuff where I could play Xbox and whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So as soon as I got all my books and stuff, I never did no homework.
Xbox away.
No.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Let me see those grades.
I think my dad probably felt bad for me though, because I was so fucked up in my head that like this is the only thing that's kind of like.
They're like, fuck it. They're like, fuck it. We got another kid.
Yeah, I remember, and then.
I just like,
this one's fucked, but we'll get it on the next one, huh?
Yeah, that's all right.
If I was a dad, I would think that way. I'd be like, man, fuck this kid already. I'm just kidding.
Fuck it.
I'm just fucking with you.
Got another kid. It's all right. We're good.
I remember like art was a big thing for me, but like I would just take my mind off everything. And my anxiety was so bad, or whatever was triggering me to have the episodes of dissociate, whatever was triggering that. Like it'd be something as minute as, all right, I remember one time sitting in my room and I was drawing and my mom came in to visit, you know, she was in town or something like that. She came in, but I didn't know she was in the room. She came in and she tapped me on the shoulder like that and it scared me. So when I went like that, I was like, you just ruined my weekend. Because I knew from that point, my anxiety wasn't going to stop because I didn't know how to stop it. So when it would happen, it was just like, all right, whenever it stops, you know. And sure enough, like for 2 days and stuff, like my weekend was ruined. I was just in a constant state of panic, dude. Like sweaty palms and like tunnel vision and all that stuff. Like it was that fucking bad, dude. Like,
do you still get that way though now?
No, hell no.
Not anymore.
I haven't had an anxiety attack in like
that's right, for a while.
Long fucking time. But back then it was that bad, you know. I remember fucking like I was like a horse, dude. Like you had to walk up to it like this. You had to walk up to it like this and be like, hey, like we don't want him to buck, you know.
You wish you were a horse.
Hey, is that sexual?
That's crazy. Damn. Yeah, that's just, and there's a lot of parents who don't know what's going on with their kids that are going through that right now at this very second.
I remember the look in my parents' eyes. They didn't know what the fuck was going on. They were like terrified because they had no idea what the hell was, because how are you supposed to know what's in someone's head, man?
Yeah. And then a lot of parents are too embarrassed to take their kid to the doctor because they don't want their kid to be the one.
Not my mom. She wasn't embarrassed to take me because she had went through shit like that when she was growing up, you know? I come from a background of a lot of mental illness and stuff. So she went through stuff like that. And so she was like really, really like adamant about taking me to the doctor and stuff.
Yeah.
And she was like on top of it. But it affected her the most, you know? I could see that it really hurt her a lot because she's already a very sensitive person. And I think that's where I get it from, you know? A lot of her traits I have as well, you know? And I know that's where she gets it from. And then on top of everything that was going on. It just wasn't good for her, you know. So, but I remember going to the doctors and stuff, and then like the therapist. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was like, dude, why am I explaining this shit to you? I don't know who you are. Like
Yeah, it's
I
hard.
totally held back. You know, I didn't know.
And then I was always going into the therapist's office with the mind frame of, okay, so do you suffer from what I suffer from? And if they would say like no, but they're educated, and I would just get like irritated because like if you don't live it, then you don't know. You could read anything in a book,
Uh-huh.
but you don't know how it is. You could imagine how it is, but you don't know the experience unless you've actually walked the shoes. So I had to just convince myself over time that this is just somebody to talk to that I could relate to, that they could possibly recommend something that I would either agree with or disagree with and try or not try.
Are you like correcting them? Like, nah, you're wrong, dude. Like, I think I know what's going on here. Because you know yourself more than
You know
anybody.
yourself, yeah. And so I would, they work with you. You know, it's your body, it's your mind, it's your soul, it's you. This is your whole temple. So you don't have to do what the doctor wants you to do. You could speak to the doctor about other alternatives that you want, because it is after all your own body. You know.
I want to know what's going on with you, man. I feel like every fucking episode is about me. Like, I feel like I'm always like expressing my problems to you and everything, and I feel like I never ask you how you're doing.
No, you know what? Today I'm letting you. I don't know if you know.
You always do though. You always let me.
Because today, especially today, because you're feeling very depressed, and
no, not very. It's just coming on.
Well, and I noticed that just by you talking about it, especially whenever we're doing a podcast and you're talking about, like, before we even started, and I could see it in your eyes. I could just see it in your demeanor that something's going on. And then by the time we're finished with the podcast, and I look at you and I'm letting you vent, and by the end of the podcast, your spirits are lifted up a lot more.
Yeah, it helps. It helps.
So I'm just like, yeah, get that shit off your chest, man.
But I want to know what's going on with you. You know, I want to know how you're feeling and where you're at mentally and stuff, and if you're doing good.
I was gonna say
I want to know if you're doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
What's going on in Victor world? Victorville,
huh? No, I'm just doing some driving again.
All right, well, that's another episode of the. No, I was kidding.
Bye. Bye. My life is not important. It's not
important. I got you. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Wait, what was I saying?
I was just asking how you were. I don't even know what you're going to say because I'm just so focused on the joke.
You were waiting for that one, huh?
No, it wasn't. I didn't intend to do that. I saw an opportunity to jump in and I jumped.
Do it.
Yeah. And I just wanted to
5,
see
4, 3, 2, 1.
Jinx, you owe me. No?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to see how you were doing, man.
No, I'm good.
Like like depression wise, or are you in the middle somewhere, or how do you feel? Because you're up and down too.
Yeah, I'm doing went back to doing some rideshare just for right now. No, just working on other things. Taking some classes from my business coach, and also getting some new stuff together and working on another podcast that we're getting together. We're going to start recording this next week, actually. So I'll be able to talk about that probably on our next podcast.
What is it? I kind of zoned out.
You did? Did
yeah,
you really?
I swear to God, on what you were on the thing that you were doing. Is that a fake laugh, bro? I feel like you're faking it, man.
You dick. I forgot what I said.
Something about that you wanted to share. I heard everything up until what you wanted to share. What was the thing that you wanted to share?
Dude, you're making my eyes water and shit.
See why I didn't pass any tests?
All right.
Good luck trying to teach me, man.
What's the challenge for this week?
No, I want to hear what you said though. You were gonna share something.
What was I gonna share?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. You said you're working on something behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, the podcast with a couple of other hosts. So we're working on that. Hosts.
Okay.
Hosts, yeah.
Just me and some hoes.
And we're gonna be coming out. We're gonna start recording this next couple weeks. So we'll be doing a few episodes back to back.
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to get you to do, because I know you have your own stuff going on, I want you to plug your info. Use this as a platform to plug that. So, I mean, I know you got your Dig Deep journey. And then I know you got your podcast coming out, and then everything else you do independently. So, I mean, where can they find you on Instagram and stuff?
Or they could just go to vjinspires.com.
But you're more on Facebook, though.
No, not really.
No?
No.
Are you like an avid poster?
They're scheduled posts, so they go out.
Oh, really? You're not even, you don't even control it?
They're scheduled posts,
because you don't even like our own posts when I post shit that you're in.
I have to make sure the alerts on.
Our podcast is so lame. The person that's on it doesn't even like it.
No, that's not even true. Look, I do go in there and I get the alerts when somebody comments on the post though, and I will reply to comments and I will.
You don't do that for me.
Talk to people. I don't get the alerts. I got to set that up.
I was just playing with you.
So yeah, but go to vjinspires.com. You could look me up on Facebook at facebook.com. Vjinspire without the S. It's just Vjinspire. And on Instagram, Vjinspires, and LinkedIn as well, Vjinspires.
And then our podcast is on PO3 Podcast, just PO3. There's no it's not a freaking acronym or anything, just PO3 and then podcast.
P the letter O.
Yeah, P the letter O and then 3. And then on YouTube, I don't know where those. This is on YouTube, but PO3 Podcast. It stands for Party of 3. I got to start putting that in the title, Party of 3. But so for this week, we're gonna do as we just started a weekly challenge segment, and for this week, I want you guys to take the walk the PO3 pathway with us, and self-love. But normally I started off with giving the definition of stigma, and then giving our acronym for stigma and stuff, and then having that be the incentive. Whatever stigma affected you the most, use that as the incentive to walk the PO3 path with us, and take the challenge. So, the definition of stigma is a mark of disgrace associated with a person, a particular circumstance, quality. So what I want you guys to do is think about all the stigmas on mental illness that made you terrified to speak up about whatever it is. That's for you to figure out. So you fill in that blank. You just think of whatever stigma affected you the most so that you give your all. The acronym is so that I give my all, but that's going to be you so that you give your all. And I do the same thing as well. I take my own challenges and stuff. But for this week, the challenge that I want you guys to do is just simply go outside and take a walk. That's it. Because for me, that helps me a lot. If you're normally a recluse and you're in a state of depression, or you're going through, your normal life stuff, a big thing that helps is just getting outside, getting some fresh air, and just gathering your thoughts. And sometimes nature helps out with that, or wherever you live. Just having some fresh air. So yeah. I often take walks by myself. I love, like, whenever I call this guy or I call my friends or my cousins or stuff like that, normally what I'm doing during those times is I'm going outside and I'm taking a walk,
And you gotta, it's also another element of the environments of our world and our life and our connection. So it's also the environment of nature. So by going out and taking your walks and being in nature, you're just kind of resetting yourself and your spirituality in a sense, whether you believe it or not, or whether you realize it or not. It is happening, and it's emotionally, physically, and mentally satisfying for you to just go out and do that. So I'm
for me, it
tomorrow
is
morning. Then
one of the first things that when I got scheduled to go see the doctor before the doctor therapist, one of the things that she recommended
about the doctor before that doctor that was that.
There's no doctor for the doctor.
Oh, okay.
It's just the doctor, then the doctor. But one of the things that she recommended me that impacted me the most was take a walk. And that was what set off my entire fitness
Maybe she was
journey.
kicking you out of the office.
Imagine. Hey, just take a walk, bro.
Just take a walk, bro.
Kick rocks, man.
Sorry.
Fucking psycho.
I gotta spit something stupid in there. Huh?
Nah, you always have to, yeah. But yeah, it impacted me the most, and that's what kicked off my entire fitness journey was just that one walk. I always say it. I lost 25 pounds in 60 days, and it was all because it all started with one walk.
I gained 50 pounds.
He gained 50 pounds in 5 days.
It's all them fucking munchies, man. No.
I've been trying to cut back on the snacks lately a lot because normally like
potato chips and anything that has sugar.
But chips are my favorite. Like hot Cheetos, I love hot Cheetos.
Just cut down. You can reward yourself. Have once a week. Have or even a small little handful like this every day.
No, because then I can't just have a handful.
I know.
That's where discipline comes in, though. You know, maybe.
Yeah.
But altogether, what I do to avoid it is just I don't eat. I don't eat those things, or I won't buy it when I go to the store. You know, that's what oftentimes like I don't keep stuff like that in my house. That's why I don't eat till like later on because there's really nothing else to eat other than the food you have to prepare and cook yourself.
Oh, I love eating, dude. I love eating. I love baking. I love cooking. It's just I'm gonna bring some shit out here on the show.
Yeah, what are you gonna bring
Christmas
on
shit.
for the because we're gonna do a Christmas segment and stuff. So I mean, you could
I'll bring
you
some
could
shit
bake
on.
something.
Oh, hell
I'll have
yeah, I'm gonna bake a lot
my
of shit.
my fiance bake something too. She likes to bake as well. She loves baking.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
I think everyone went through that phase, huh, during quarantine, like the baking phase.
I think so. Yeah.
Did you?
I always bake though.
Yeah, but like during the quarantine, did you really ramp it up?
Actually, I stopped baking a lot more.
That was weird because like I remember going to the store and you could not find flour in the
Yeah,
beginning of
no.
everything. You couldn't find flour, or you couldn't find sugar or yeast or anything like that.
Or toilet paper.
Or toilet paper. Yeah, fucking idiots.
So wrong thing to get. You know what? If you're gonna go get something, get salt. Pack up on salt because if anything ever goes to shit and say
Cover
like
your
something,
food.
something happens like really, really bad, even if you go hunting or if there's meat right there in the grocery store that you have to get real quick or whatever, you pour that salt on there, dry out that shit, and you got beef jerky and hydrated meats, and that will last you for a long time, give you some good protein. So to get the salt, fuck the toilet paper. You can wash your ass in the sink.
Yeah, like I didn't get that. I was like, dude, I'll just take a shower, you know? Like I'll just take a shower. I don't need to freaking wipe my
Fuck
ass.
it.
I'll wipe it in the shower, you know? Who gives a fuck, you know? I'll use a sock if it comes down to it, you know?
Yeah,
Who
or I'll
cares?
go out on the lawn.
I'll
and
just
do
shit
it.
outside.
I'll do what the dogs do.
Yeah,
Drag
exactly.
my ass on my ass lawn.
Well, with that being said, this is
That
another
being said.
episode of the PO3 Podcast. You want to wrap it up, man? We're already an hour in.
Yeah, of course. Hey, I love you guys.
I just
and
feel
remember
like-
your greatness.
I feel like it wasn't that
You're
good because I
awesome.
was like, so my energy was down.
Oh, you're fine. Quit bitching about it. You did good.
I don't know. Should we
You
start?
look
off right-
better than you did.
What do you mean?
Like you're more energized.
Oh,
than-
yeah. But yeah, look how long it took to
Yeah.
get to this point, though. An hour.
That's good.
Yeah, because in the beginning, it was like super like, I was like, damn, I kind of don't want to. I wanted, like, I was going to do it anyway. We were going to record, but I didn't feel like it, you know?
I could
Deep
tell.
down. Yeah, deep down. I was just like, fuck. I was hoping you didn't show up. Fuck, just don't come.
Just don't come. I don't want to be your friend.
That way,
right
it give
now.
me that way it gives
You're
me
not
an
my friend
excuse not to
today.
do it, you know.
Yeah, no.
But anyway, man,
I'm glad we did.
it's been
though.
good
It
talking to
helps.
you, and I appreciate you being here for me and stuff and
Preach.
hearing me out.
I appreciate you, my brother, and I appreciate your uncle who.
Oh yeah. See that? Okay, so we wanted to give a big shout out together to Luhan Gaming, which he was courteous enough and kind enough to allow us to post clips of our podcast on his channel, and it's a gaming channel, so he had, you know, he didn't have to do that. It just came from his heart, you know, and he was just trying to be nice, and he supports everybody. As long as you show him, you know, some love and you bring nothing but positivity to his channel, he's gonna do the same thing for you. And he's on his way to 10,000 subscribers right now. He's got 9K. And so congratulations to him for that.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much. You're awesome.
Yeah, so Luhan Gaming, we just want to give you a big shout out, and hopefully we could do something together one of these days. But we do appreciate you. So
Yes, very much so. The love, brother.
But yeah, man. So I think that's it.
Yeah, hey, let's get out of here. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate you, my brother.
We'll see you
You're
guys.
awesome, bro.
We'll see you guys next week. So
I'm Victor Junior.
my name is Marcus Mark. We are the PO3 Podcast.